Hi everybody, and welcome to Traveling with Russell. Welcome to Moscow. Welcome to a new video, and something that might be interesting, it might not be. Let's see. Firstly, I just want to apologize for the direction of the sun and the fact that it's right behind this building. And I want to take you to a shopping center that is dedicated to motorbikes, outdoor adventure, I think fishing and camping. And what I really want to show you is a specific dealership in here that has Ural motorbikes. And you'll find out a little bit more in a minute, because I think it's quite relevant to some news that was on TV around the entire world. So let's go and check this place out. Normally at the start of most videos I let you know where I am, and because I came by bus, I'm not really sure the region that I'm in. And quite fortunately, the last stop of the bus route is right outside this shopping center. So I will put the information about where this is. I'll put a map link and also the website for this particular shopping center, and you'll be able to figure out where I actually am. Based on this very large X on the side of the building, this is actually called SportEX, and it's a shopping center dedicated to mostly motorbikes. However, there's a few other businesses inside, and I think it's quite interesting for the fact that in my other videos I cover shopping centers and supermarkets, and this is where the bikers of Moscow come to do their shopping. In the lobby there is actually a mud map of the different shops here, and it's 5 levels of different stores, and I'm going to take you for a brief walk around Russell style and show you what's in here. So quite a lot of the shops are selling the different types of motorbike gear, helmets, pads, leathers, and all sorts of different things. And then there is some motorbike dealers which I will point out as well. And it's a very interesting place based on the fact that there is about 30 or 40 different stores, and you're coming to a shopping center just related to sport, which is pretty cool. The main reason for me to come here is to actually find the Ural motorbike dealership and talk a little bit about a very recent news story where the President of Russia gave a citizen of America a Ural motorbike. So perhaps if you saw that on the news, it makes a little bit more sense. However, he came here to buy the bike. Now I'm fairly sure he didn't specifically come here, and someone else did. But it's such an interesting story, and I also wanted to come here to check this place out as well. Riding shoes, riding boots, and just the amount of stock and selection in here is pretty cool at the same time. And I really love to show these different things on my videos to show you what is possible and what you can buy in Russia. Of course, to anybody that might be a motorbike rider, this might be super interesting. And I think to people who like shopping in general, it's interesting that here in Russia they have entire shopping centers dedicated to certain niches and certain topics, and you can find an entire shopping center that has mostly motorbike gear, and then a few other outdoor shops. And I don't think there's possibly a model that you can't find in this place. There is also some cafes and the restaurants here mixed in as well. There's actually a shop tucked away in the corner here that's got roof boxes. And this brand, Thule, is, I think, pretty much the most famous brand. It's from Sweden, according to the sign right there. But the shop here is called boxteam.ru. They've got all sorts of different things relating to roof boxes for your car. I have actually been to this shopping center before. I brought a friend from New Zealand here, Ben, and he wanted to find some fishing shops in Moscow. And he actually was in one of my original videos on the channel where we walked through Globus. And when I came back here about an hour ago, I was like, I'm sure I visited this place before. We were in search of fishing tackle stores and camping style shops. And now I'm here to see an Ural motorbike. And as I walk around, I will give you a bit more information about this bike because there's quite an interesting backstory to it. I'm going to show you a few more shops and then we'll end up at the Ural store. So there is a fishing shop over here. I think they're on different levels. I've not fully walked around and I'm just filming as I go. And this one is called Carp Shop, quite literally. Oh, have a look. Somebody is a very good fisherman with all the trophies up there. They've got all of the gear. So perhaps river fishing, I guess. This is really cool. I'm quite literally walking in, so hopefully it's not a problem. All the gear for carp fishing, I imagine. All the fish food and pellets and all sorts of things. So to talk about this Ural motorbike, so if you're aware, I think most people who aren't living in a cave realize that the President of Russia met the President of America in Anchorage, Alaska, and there was a viral news story that was on Russian television where some of the media and government representatives were in Anchorage ahead of the president arriving, and that moment where he steps off the plane, and they were staying at hotels in the city, and some of the media saw a gentleman riding an Ural motorbike. They're very famous with the sidecar, and they stopped him and did an interview with him. And in that interview, he talked about his motorbike and his passion for them, and he explained that he can't get certain parts for his bike. His was an older model. And the TV station made the story, put it on Russian television, and then some of the other media outlets picked it up. And the story goes that the President of Russia, Mr. Putin, offered to bring him a motorbike to Anchorage. And it probably wasn't as big a news as the moment where they shook hands getting off the airplanes. But after he left, the representatives from the Russian government called this gentleman and said, "We've got a motorbike waiting for you." Actually, they told him just to turn up to the hotel car park, and they had an Ural motorbike, brand new, waiting for him. They handed him the keys, and he said, on behalf of President Putin, "We want to give you a motorbike." What a story. There's a shop here called Ice Cube. Now, not the singer or the actor, but it's a shop that's selling the refrigerated cool boxes and some of the different camping accessories and the kettles and ovens. How cool is this? Going back to the motorbike story, so yesterday my wife said to me that I should come and find the Ural dealership here in Moscow and have a look if they've got bikes for sale, which obviously they would have. and see what I can show you, and hopefully chat to the guy or whoever it is that works there and make a bit of a video out of it. On the upstairs 2 levels of this place, they've got a electric go-kart track that's actually also over 2 levels as well. And it's probably not the best lighting because it's got this, I guess, green lighting everywhere. But how cool is this? What's so interesting in the corner here is Oscar Piastri, the Australian Formula 1 driver, on a cardboard cutout. In the back here, they've also got 10-pin bowling. All of the statistics for the fastest races, the honor board. They've got a few pool tables, and then this glow-in-the-dark bowling, which you really can't quite see, but it's just behind this wall. And there's also eSIM car racing as well. While we're on the topic of Alaska, this outdoor shop here is called Sitka. Now, very well known city in Alaska. I've actually been there on a cruise ship many years ago, and as we're making a video about Anchorage and their shop on this corner here, it's called Sitka, of all things. What would be the chances of that? I thought I had to just briefly walk through the store here because this is really quite amazing. The selection and assortment and just wall-to-wall items. And this is why I brought Ben here. He wanted to buy some Russian fishing tackle to try his luck fishing back in New Zealand. So if anybody's a fisherman or fisher lady, this is the place to come to. They have absolutely everything in this store. And I think one of their main brands is called Sims. And it's the American flag right on the box of the shoes. So I think this is all of the wet weather gear and all of the waders. But this is the shop to come to. There is a very large bike shop here on this upstairs level, and a lot of different models. Honda, Triumph, there's one over there called Ninja. If you know these, perhaps they're more familiar to people who are riders. Harley Davidson, BMW, K1600. And there's pretty much any model, any type you like. Electra Glide Harley Davidson. Now, I have previously made a video looking for Harley Davidsons in Russia, and that was a very popular video at the time when I made it. And that was actually in another shopping center in Moscow on the other side of the city. And then I've come to this one in search of a very specific motorbike. But then you come to places like this and you're just overwhelmed by hundreds and hundreds of bike models. I think there's no need for me to make another video in 2025 about buying or finding a Harley in Russia, because they definitely have them. Old models, new models, every model. Kawasaki. So there's quite a mixture of different brands. And can you buy a Harley in Russia? The answer is definitely yes. Coming up to the first level, there is different bike shops right here. And this is the Ural motorcycle store. And I will explain a little bit more afterwards about this shop. Let's head on inside. Now, I've already been here, and what I want to show you right here on the right hand side is one of the famous Ural motorbikes, and this one's got a pretty nifty paint job on it, some spotlights, and check out the pictures behind. How cool are these? So lots of different guys going on trips. I think it's like the wall of fame for the Ural motorbikes, where people have gone on probably trips across Russia, I think maybe even some other countries, looking at the photos up there. But how cool is this? There's a Ural standing in front of me, and I can buy one and take it home, just like the news story. It's amazing. Wow. Okay, so I'm actually inside the dealership now, and I'm joined here by...
Hello, my name is Denis, and I'm the CEO of the distribution in Russia, the Ural motorcycles.
Okay, now we didn't arrange any questions ahead of time. I'm very bad at doing these types of videos. So where we're standing is the dealership or the office to buy the Ural bikes. Now, of course, there was a very famous story in the news about, I think about a week ago, let's say, about an Ural bike getting sent to Alaska. Anchorage, Alaska, yes. So there was an American guy who was driving one of these around town. This is obviously a brand new model right here. And somehow it became viral news. And you're smiling, I think, because for me it's really interesting.
Okay, for us this the surprise too. We don't know that this bike someone sent to the Anchorage, and we just see it at the TV too, same like you, and a lot of people around.
So the interesting thing is somebody came in wanting to buy a Ural, and they really badly wanted to buy a Ural and take it literally out the door. And you had to like pull a few strings. Well,
and after 3 days or 4 days, we just watching the news and see our Ural in Alaska. That's for us. That's really the surprise.
So you didn't know what was going on. Okay, of course anybody can walk in like I can. Buy a bike.
And send anywhere.
And I guess now after this, now I just literally walked in here five minutes ago.
But I think that them can buy it in the USA too.
So there is dealers around the world.
And at the USA too, around the 60 dealer shops
selling Urals. But the gentleman that was in the news story, he said that he couldn't get parts. He had an older model.
So old, you know?
Wasn't so old.
That's the begin maybe 2000, millennium 2001.
20,000, so a 25-year-old model. So, and I've literally come here, and one question I have now, have you had lots of people calling and coming in like me and...
interest. We have, and a lot calls. You know, you're here right now. The calling, and them chat to us, writing by emails. You know, that's so popular.
And you just told me also that tomorrow you're going on like a bike rally. So you will go with friends or with other owners.
With another owners, we're going so far. It's about around 3,500 kilometers. From the Moscow.
Wow! On the bikes.
With the Urals,
with the sidecar passenger. Wow! This is. Okay, so this shopping center is dedicated to outdoor activities, so mostly motorbikes, fishing, camping,
hunting.
Hunting as well. And are you happy that it was on the news, or is it like a bit of a...
Of course, happy, you know.
As a bike lover and enthusiast, I think you're happy. But I think the amount of people who are now showing interest in this model, because sidecar bikes are not...
Oh, this is, you know, this just a little bit different from the standard bikes for the single bikes, you know. The sidecar, this funny thing. You must try it.
One day, hopefully, when you're a little bit less on edge and stressed. And so you're going tomorrow morning on a 2,000 kilometer trip on the bike.
3,000.
3,000.
3,000.
Only 3,000. So thank you so much for giving me a few minutes of your time and being on the video.
Okay.
Okay, so I'm actually outside the shop now, and I want to say a massive thank you to Dennis, and there was another gentleman there with him as well. And I've absolutely just turned up here. I didn't call ahead, I didn't send them a message, and when I got to the shop here, I noticed they've got a wrap on their shop, and all the other shops in this building don't. And Dennis was explaining that a lot of his customers like to shop in privacy, and he has a lot of very well-known clients and customers and people who are well-known on TV, celebrities if you like, and they like a little bit of privacy, and that's why you see the screens up. Also, for me to ask him for an interview, I was a little bit hesitant to see if he wanted to be on camera, and he happily answered a few questions. He is going on this trip tomorrow, so they're preparing bikes to go on that trip, and the shop itself is not set up for customers. Most of the people that come here are not walk-in clients. They're people that already know about this place. They've spoken to the staff online, and it's not essentially a retail shop as such. It is set up that way, but just the way that they like to operate, they like to be a little bit more anonymous for their clients. So I'm very, very fortunate to be able to have gone inside. Actually, if I would have come tomorrow, they won't be here because they'll close for their trip. So it's very nice. You can probably see almost in the shadows the other bikes inside. So the way I did it was I was able to walk in and then film one of the bikes and then do the interview. And it was just super nice of him to be on camera. As I walk on out of SportEX, all I'm going to do is walk across the street to the bus stop, and I can head on back into Moscow. I really hope you found this interesting, and being able to actually find the exact shop where the President of Russia came to buy a motorbike. And just the story itself. Now, if you don't know about it, perhaps Google it, and it's really just so fascinating that the President of Russia saw on the news a story of a gentleman who owned a very famous Russian-made motorbike, which are in production to this day. And then he had the idea of taking one with him on the airplane, and then ultimately giving it to the guy. And quite literally, the story goes that the government officials, along with the news crew, they called him and invited him to the hotel and gave him the bike and said that it was a gift from the president. And the fact that somebody came here and purchased a bike, and the gentleman that worked there and who we talked to on the video, he of course, has a lot of very well-known clients, but he wasn't aware where that bike was going to end up after somebody came in being very insistent that they wanted one very quickly. And most of the bikes that they sell are special order, and there isn't necessarily one in the shop that you can take out the door because of the fact that they make them custom for each person. So you can decide the color, the accessories, the different things that are built into the bike. And the fact that a few days later after it left here, the staff from the dealership saw it on TV, you know, he's quite overwhelmed. And I think me just turning up as well, I did ask him if other people had come to the store, and he said the amount of phone calls, messages, emails that he's getting is a lot more than it was about 7 days ago. And I think the nature of the bike industry is a little bit more calmer and quieter than what has happened. And even somebody like me taking interest in it and showing up and, you know, wanting to actually find this place. I mean, like I said, I was here, I'm going to say it was almost 2 years ago, to look at that fishing shop. And then it's come full circle that I'm back here again. So very interesting. If you like the video, give it a thumbs up and let me know, have you maybe ridden the bike before? Did you know about the story of this? I mean, the stories after they switched the cameras off and the two presidents got on their plane and left are just so fascinating, and it doesn't necessarily reach the mainstream media in Western countries. So if you knew about it before watching this video, it'll be interesting to know that if you watched it or, you know, understood what I'm explaining to you here. So thanks everybody for watching. If you want to follow me on Telegram, the link is just here somewhere. And then I'll put another video, something interesting, I hope, for you to watch, maybe something a little bit older, and you can keep traveling with Russell. Okay, everybody, I'm off on another adventure. Bye.